Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Grade 7. Now, in today's class, we will discuss 7.11 unit about the chlorides. I have chosen some selected topics from this unit. So, in this unit, you will able to learn about the chlorides, making of sodium chloride, and how much salt is present in the sea. Chlorides. The compounds which made up of chlorine and other element is known as a chloride. The common example of chloride is the sodium chloride and the calcium chloride. The common name of the sodium chloride is a table salt, which we use in our daily routine. Now move to the next topic, making sodium chloride. For the making of the sodium chloride, it could be done in the laboratory. For the making of the sodium chloride, you need to fill the jar with this chlorine gas and then heat a small piece of sodium metal until it melt. Then place this molten sodium in the chlorine gas. The sodium burns with a bright yellow flame and the clouds of the white sodium chloride forms. As you can see in this picture, the bright yellow flame is here, which is the sodium chloride flame. Now come to the topic about how much salt is present in the sea. As you know that seawater is salty, so it consists of a huge amount of salt naturally in this seawater. So there is no need to be no need to make the sodium chloride because it exists naturally in the seawater. From the seawater we can easily obtain the sea by the process of evaporation and filtration. Now move to the end of the chapter. Questions given on your page number 99. From this unit you have to only answer a single question. The question number 1, that name the chloride that is made up of potassium and chlorine. So you have to mention the name of that chloride which is made from potassium and chlorine. It's so easy, as you know that the chloride which is formed from the sodium and chlorine is known as sodium chloride. So you have to name this a chloride made up of potassium and chlorine. Now move to your workbook exercises given on your page number 43. From this unit you have to answer the only first question, as this question is related to your topic which I have discussed in the class. So you have to only highlight or circle the best definition of the chloride. So from these options A, B, C and D, you have to circle only the best definition of the chloride. Now grade 7, move to your next topic unit, which is 7.12 about the mixtures. It's also in a small topic and very easy and interesting also. In this topic, you will be explained the following topics: introducing mixtures, different mixtures, and how elements, compounds, and mixtures are different from each other. Okay. Now, introducing mixtures: the substances which are not joined together and are there, they are just mixed up. These are known as the mixtures, and they are easy to separate through different processes via filtration, evaporation, and others. For example, the mixture of salt and water can be easily separated with the help of evaporation. Now, the different mixtures can contain elements or compounds or both. In case of the mixture of elements, you can see here the example of the mixture of elements in the picture of nails of which is made up of iron and copper. So here's a jar which contains the mixture of elements, and they can be easily separated. You can easily pick the iron nails from this mixture, or you can easily separate the copper nails from the mixture of iron and copper nails. But in the case of mixture of compounds, it is difficult to separate the elements. You can take the example of the toothpaste. Toothpaste is a mixture of the compounds, because the toothpaste contains fluoride, sodium carbonate, and others. You cannot separate sodium chloride and sodium bicarbonate or the fluoride from the toothpaste. Or you can take an example of the orange juice. Orange juice is also a mixture of the compounds which contains glucose, sucrose, citric acid, ascorbic acid, and water. So you cannot separate the glucose from the water, sucrose from the water, or citric acid or ascorbic acid from the orange juice. You cannot separate it. Now come to the next topic, air. Air is also an important mixture which consists of the elements and as well as the compounds. In case of the mixture of the elements, air consists of nitrogen gas, oxygen gas, and argon gas. These are the separate elements. And for the case compounds, Air also consists of the compounds. For example, carbon dioxide gas, it's compound, carbon dioxide gas. How elements, compounds, and mixtures are different. You know that iron and sulfur both are element and they both have different properties from each other. If you have a powder of iron powder and the sulfur powder, and you mix both the powders together, it becomes a mixture, and you can easily separate it, the mixture with the help of a magnet. If you bring a magnet close to this mixture, the iron powder will jump into the magnet. So the properties are similar to those of the elements because the elements have not joined together, and so they can easily be separated. But when you heat this mixture, the two elements join together and the compound is formed known as the iron sulfide. And this compound is totally different from the elements it is made from. And you cannot get iron out of that compound with the help of a magnet. You can see in this picture. In the first picture, you can see that it's a mixture of iron and sulfur, and in the second one, it's a compound of iron sulfide. And the properties of the iron sulfide is totally different from the elements. The difference between the compounds and the mixtures. With the help of this table, you can easily know the differences between the compounds and the mixtures. For the compounds, the number of types of atoms are more than one and they are joined together, whereas in case of the mixture, also there are more than one type of atom is there, but they are not joined together. And in case of the compounds, the, they can not be easily separated into the simpler substances, and the chemical reactions is required in some cases to separate, whereas in mixture they can easily be separated into the simpler substances, and the properties of the compounds is totally different from its elements, whereas in the case of mixture the same properties as substances in it. The amount of the elements in the compounds are always in the same ratio, whereas the amounts of substances in the mixture can change. Now move to the end of the chapter questions of this chapter 7.12 given on your page number 101. In the first question, you have to define the mixture, write the definition of the mixture. In the second question, you have to describe three differences between the mixture and a compound. From the previous table, you may take help and write the differences between the mixture and a compound. In the third question, you have to list 5 different mixtures and 5 compounds, and you may take help from your daily routine. In the last question, you have to make 3 columns and write in the first column, and the top of the first column, right, you have to write the mixture of the elements. Second one, you have to write the mixture of the compounds, and the last one, you have to write the mixture of elements and compounds, and write this formulae in the proper column. Now come to the workbook exercise given on your page number 44. In the first question, you have to complete this table which shows the differences between the compounds and the mixtures. With the help of the table given in your textbook, you may easily complete this table. Now move to the next question, question number 2. For question number 2, you are given the separate different mixtures. So for this mixtures, you have to write against each mixture M for the capital M for the mixtures and capital C for the compounds. You have to mention which of these given to you are the mixtures or in which are the compounds. So you have to write M for the mixtures and C for compounds. Now come to the next question. In question number 3, there are diagrams given to you, and in this diagram there are the different circles. The circle of the similar shades shows the atom of the same element, whereas the circles with the different shades shows the atom of the different elements. So you have to write which are shows which box show which is the element, and which shows a compound, which shows a mixture of elements, which shows a mixture of compounds, and which shows a mixture of elements and compound both. And in the last question, they are given to you some formulae. So you have to write this is a mixture of elements, or a mixture of compounds, or a mixture of elements and compounds both. So you have to mention your answer. The topic was very easy and interesting. I hope you would easily understand and like it. Thank you, student.